You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, where we share topics that will inspire business growth and help you stay ahead of advances in technology before they become mainstream. This episode is sponsored by Ingram Micro Xvantage, the game-changing platform that will transform your business potential and reshape how customers see you. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of B2B Tech Talk. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined with two special guests. We have Derek Smith, who is Director of the Microsoft Cloud Practice at Trace3, and our own John Dusett, who's VP of Technology Solutions here at Ingram Micro. So, Derek, let's start with you. I want to jump right into what's been going on with Trace3.
A lot's been going on at Trace3, and thank you, Nina, for having me. Really appreciate it. We have been undertaking a large transformational journey, not only within ourselves, but also with our clients, and recognizing that AI has become the leading technology to disrupt and fundamentally change how businesses and organizations are going about their almost everyday life, but also going about business. And so Trace3 has been putting itself at the forefront of this conversation, providing a lot of thought leadership for our clients, and also providing a lot of services and capabilities around AI, not only for ourselves, but also for our clients as well.
Well, congratulations for jumping right in. So,
Absolutely.
John, how has Ingram helped partners like Trace3 go into business today?
Yeah, well, I love the way that Derek put it because he really acknowledged the two big challenges that are there. One is that the conversation about AI is everywhere as businesses are learning about the positive disruptive, force that it could be. So we're making sure that we're helping partners get comfortable with that conversation, right? By linking them with subject matter experts inside of Ingram, linking them with subject matter experts inside of key vendors that are leading that space, et cetera. So some of it is just about that comfort level of opening up a dialogue with a end user that says, hey, I hear this could be really helpful. But then we are helping some partners. Trace3 is a great example of this. Take it the next level and be a thought leader, which is exactly the way I think of Derek's practice. Is they are thought leaders. They're capable of conducting workshops with customers around their businesses. So the things that we're talking about here today are core to the way that Ingram is helping partners get ready.
That's awesome. So, Derek,
Mhm.
how are partners engaging with you, or excuse me, end users engaging with you today? Where are you seeing? Is there a sweet spot that they're looking to create some efficiencies? What are you seeing?
We're really seeing a lot of customers want to adopt AI in two areas, right? And we see a lot of customers are kind of at two different points. They are either at the starting line, and much like John mentioned, right, they've heard all this noise, they've heard all this talk around AI and all the technologies around it, and so they're trying to understand how they just dip their toe in the water and even get started. And a lot of these conversations end up starting around governance, security. How do I make sure I put up the right guardrails, the right things to direct my organization in the correct way to make sure that I can enable my end users to adopt AI without fear of, exposing the business to some sort of risk or attack or some other thing, because AI is so new and because there's so much out there around it, and literally it's changing, it feels like by the minute, if not faster. A lot of organizations are just flooded with all this information, and there's this almost small state of paralysis for them to actually get moving into AI, and I think in a very effective and efficient manner. So enabling them from a governance and security perspective has been one way. The other way has been around use cases and end user productivity. And specifically, we've seen a lot of interest, obviously, around Copilot for Microsoft 365, as well as some of the others. But specifically around Copilot, a lot of organizations are coming to us because either they already have Copilot or they've been exploring ways to adopt Copilot to help make their end users be more productive. And so we have a lot of clients that we've had sessions around what use cases make the most sense for their organization, what use cases are more appropriate for other AI technologies. To give you an example, we had a client come to us with a ideation session that we did. We identified up to over 300 use cases, and about half of those were not even Copilot specific, right? They were actually use cases for some other AI technology. So they didn't even apply to the conversation around something like Copilot for Microsoft 365. And so it's important to have those conversations with our clients to really make sure they understand what Copilot is, what those use cases are, how do they best fit within Copilot versus another type of AI technology. Because I think right now there's a lot of sense that Copilot is a silver bullet for a lot of things AI, and the reality is that it's not. And so helping clients kind of understand that and then be able to effectively drive forward with use cases that are meaningful, actionable, and show usage back to the business that, hey, these users are going to adopt this, and really help them transform the way they're going to conduct their business.
And John, from what I understand, Trace3 has even gotten Microsoft's attention, really interested in learning more about how they're working with partners as well. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely, it's right, and rightfully so. And it's interesting that Derek just did a nice job of describing, I think, how partners operate as a thought leader for their customers. What a great story he's just telling about a customer and the many different ways that an end user can identify opportunities inside their business to use AI. But the best partners are steering those end users to maybe the right first places to start. There are a lot of ways that you can turn AI, into an interesting project for a customer. But what are those first most impactful ones? So what a great story, and it also follows the theme that we're seeing at Ingram across our whole market, and that is, we think there will probably be stages at how AI is adopted inside of an end customer. And here's what I mean by that. The first stage is probably end users looking to drive productivity using AI. And we think that makes a lot of sense as a good place to start, because it's a very easy return on investment conversation. I've got something inside my business I'd like to do more productively, and I know how much benefit I get from doing that, either by redeploying resources or spending less money on something. So it's a pretty easy first step. But there are additional steps, because eventually customers will say, great, I've gotten some productivity. Now, how about I build AI maybe into the product or service I'm even providing to my customers? So we think there will be waves to this. And partners are going to be on the forefront of it by being that thought leader for their end user.
That's awesome. So, Derek, when I was speaking with Chris initially, he mentioned that Trace3 is AI bilingual.
Yes.
Help me out here. What does that mean?
Uh, Absolutely happy to help you out there. So what Chris meant in that conversation is Trace3 has been very purposeful in its direction, and fundamentally we believe AI is going to transform the way everyone does business. And because of that, you almost have to treat AI as another language, right? We all go to high school, we all spend time learning Spanish, French, German, Italian, Latin, pick a language, right? I have myself studied German, but AI is now another language, and in the world of business, right? What we see, or where we see end users really struggle, is this concept around prompt engineering and being able to understand, how do I prompt AI to return the information that I need to help me be more effective with how I'm going about my business. And that's predominantly where a lot of end users struggle. And so what it means to be AI bilingual is to understand what AI is. How do I prompt these large language models, whether they be text-based ones or image-based ones or whatever, for the information that I'm truly learning about and want to return? Because as you become more proficient at that capability and you really understand how to truly prompt the system, it really unlocks a whole stratosphere of potential that I think a lot of users right now are just not at. And so we've been very purposeful at Trace3 to take our entire organization, not just the cloud team, not just the data and AI team, but literally everybody, our sellers, our back office, everybody, the executives, you name it, and provide them training around AI, around prompt engineering, around all these capabilities, to make sure that they can have these conversations as naturally with a business as if they were going home and talking to somebody in yet another language.
It's amazing. I actually love Copilot. It is, but I will tell you this, one word can make all the
Oh yeah.
difference and the return that you get. One
Yes,
word.
one word.
But it is fascinating how powerful it is and the efficiencies that it can create. So I'm a huge fan. So let me ask you this. Now, you
Mhm.
also have hired a bunch of data scientists as well. Now, tell me that Chris mentioned that during our call too.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, we didn't actually hire them. We acquired a company. So
Oh,
Trace3
okay.
recently, yes, as of January 1st, acquired and merged with Tailwinds Informatics. And so with that came over to us roughly 45 Microsoft certified data scientists, engineers, and experts. So all of those folks that came over to us from the fantastic company that is Tailwinds were merged into our data and AI business unit under the direction of Asher Lohman, who is the VP of Data and AI. And so, yes, our entire data and AI practice basically just got a giant, you know, pill of infusion of data and data science. And so it's been fantastic to work with all of the folks over there. They've been great. I've had a chance to spend time with folks like Ross McNeely and Evan Ray, who are at the forefront of things like Microsoft Fabric, Fabric Copilot, Power BI Copilot, and helping drive some of those things. So yeah, they've been absolutely fantastic, and it's been a great thing for Trace3 to welcome all the Tailwinds folks into our organization.
So now you've got tailwinds.
Yes,
You've got,
yeah, we've got
you're ready to
Tailwinds. Yep.
go. Well, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that because I know that, and I love hearing the passion in your voice because a lot of times when you bring in another company through acquisition or merger, there's time to assimilate. But the
Mhm.
way you're talking about this merger is very passionate, which means it's a really good fit. So that is especially in the direction that you're going.
Yes.
John, I have another question for you as
Sure.
well. Ingram Micro has been preparing for this for more than 2 years. I mean, we jumped in. I mean, we dove on in the
Yep.
deep end from the high dive into the pool and built Xvantage. And so we have a lot of experience now working with machine learning and AI, and we're seeing how powerful that is. How has that helped us have conversations now with our partners regarding AI?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're right. What a great example of us really living the market opportunity that's out there. That's the reality of what's happening in the world today, and we recognize the different ways that AI is going to affect our business, both as a participant in the technology industry and just even internally. So you mentioned the fact that we knew that when we were building the platform of the future to serve all of the stakeholders in our ecosystem, partners and vendors, and even our associates, we knew that that platform had to be rooted in the ability to use artificial intelligence to produce that productivity I mentioned earlier, but also really begin to rethink the way that we served all the different stakeholders across the platform. Again, using Derek's analogy of being AI bilingual, we needed to think every day in all of our conversations about how AI was going to make the experience better. So, very true. We jumped all in on it. Here we are with an AI driven platform that's serving our customers, our vendors, all of the members of the ecosystem. And it allows us, I think, that permission to go talk to partners and customers in the ecosystem about the power of what you can really do. So that's a great opportunity for us. So as we think about that, we like to point our customers to it and say, what are you doing inside your business where you could go be developing similar capabilities, even if they're not at the same scale that we're operating? What are you doing to build AI inside your business? And so the great thing is that if they don't have the capacity to go buy another company like Trace3 did, which is awesome, we can formulate the other models too, right? Because there's the old what is it? Buy, build, or partner. So
Mhm.
if you can't buy, we can help you build by training you, or we can partner you with other great partners that have that capability, like a Trace3.
It's
So
like the Home Depot. You
yeah,
can buy the product, or you can
that's
buy
right.
the product and hire us, and we'll come do it for you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's
Yeah, we're
awesome.
we're helping on all the different fronts.
So, Derek,
Mhm.
I am really curious about where you see, because I know that you're always having to look ahead at the
Yes.
market, where things are going.
Hmm.
And things happened so fast. I mean, literally, I remember coming back from, I was in Chicago for a dinner, and a doctor that was sitting next to me said, I've got this really cool thing I want to show you. Look, I can put in how to do, open heart surgery, da 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 da
Yep.
da. And he got
Hmm.
all of this stuff. He goes, can you believe it? So I came back to the office and I said, hey, team, I've got something really cool to show you. Within a month later, everybody's talking about it. That's
Yes.
how quick and viral all of this went, even though AI as a concept isn't new.
No.
What's going to be with that rapid virality of this? What's going to happen 6 months from now?
Honestly, more of the same. I think we're still, much to John's point, we're in the very early part of this journey, and there are certain companies right now who are further out than others. But the AI, I guess, war, if you want to call it that, is far from over. And there's a lot of companies who are still coming out with newer capabilities. We've seen a lot of venture capital firms pouring billions, if not probably now trillions, of investment money into AI startups, other AI capabilities that people are building. So I think from 6 months from now, you're just going to see what we're at, where we're at today, and just ratchet it up by like a factor of 10 because of how much innovation and effort is going into developing continued capabilities. And I think we're seeing a new emergence now. I think Microsoft Security Copilot goes GA as of April 1st. So now you're going to start to see, how do we help make and enable our defenders, right? Our most critical line of defense from cyber attacks. How do we empower them to be a small army, right? And it could only be one person behind the console, but it could feel like you're fighting 100 or 1,000, right? I'm a huge history buff. Greek and Roman history is a huge passion of mine, and so 300 is a great story, right? Of how 300 Spartans held off the entire Persian army for so long, and that's really what hopefully the promise of Security Copilot is you can make 300 feel like 300,000, and just be this overwhelming force to help us, defend against cyber attacks. Who, the bad actors have AI too, right? We can't
Sure.
forget that. And so now we've got to fight fire with fire, and defend against these with that capability. So I think in 6 months from now, we're going to be having a lot more conversations around how AI is helping better enable organizations to secure their risk, their threat, their attack vectors, and improve overall security operations, and how well we respond and address and remediate these threats, to protect ourselves and interests from all these cyber threats.
Fascinating.
Nina,
John, I was going to ask you what you see.
yeah, well, I want to offer up a little bit of a vision, and I suspect Derek will have some things to say about this as well, because I think we're in the era today where, well, let's just talk about Copilot, for example, where Copilot is seen as kind of an off the shelf product to take advantage of some amazing intelligence that we can generate from kind of generally available data, if you will. But I think the emergence of the ability for customers to build their own co-pilots
Mhm.
for their own purposes is very quickly coming upon us. And I think Derek, Trace3 has some experience in this area. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all,
Yeah.
but I think there's an emerging opportunity with kind of, your own co-pilot for your own business.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've been working with a couple of clients now where building out your own Copilot via any number of different ways, right? Leveraging your own data and your own experience, because you as an organization understand your business and your market very well. And not that Microsoft does their best, they absolutely do, to try to understand all different spaces. They've got to kind of stay up here at the high level, right? And be Copilot's got to be something for everybody. But you have organizations in healthcare, financial services, manufacturing who are looking at developing a specific Copilot just for manufacturing, and being able to really hone in on all of the specific nuances and details that go into building a certain product, how to run a manufacturing plant, how to make sure that your production machines operate at a certain efficiency, right? What proactive maintenance can you take? Can I address? Is there more efficiencies I can gain out of developing, some of the pre-products, right? The supply that comes in there. So all of that is going into those type of uh, industry specific or even business specific co-pilots, and these organizations are looking to start building and taking advantage of those. And they're at the very early stages. So yeah, John is very right. I think in 6 months, a year out from now, you're going to start slowly seeing the first iterations of these kind of homegrown co-pilots for each of these industries, and it's going to start taking those verticals by storm. And they're going to start being some interesting things going on in each of those. And especially, I love the medical reference that you mentioned earlier, Nina, right? That's a whole nother area that could be completely transformed around how quickly people can query for medical information. We have a client that we're working with that's looking to use their own copilot to make references to a standardized set of medical guidelines, right? And so this is an easy way that every doctor now, when treating a patient, they can query their copilot and say, "Bring me the information on how to treat X," and it is returned in the same format. Doesn't matter what hospital, clinic, whatever it's at. It's all returned in a very unified, human readable format on how to treat something, and it will cut down the time that a patient needs to stay in a facility, right? They can come in, look at the symptoms, immediately get the answers on how to treat, diagnose, and exit. And so it's going to really change the way how doctors approach treating and caring for a patient, I think, in really transformative ways.
Absolutely fascinating. By the way, Derek, I'm Greek and I studied Latin in school. So, so I
I
feel you.
also studied Latin too. I love if I have Latin all over my house. I have some books. My kids look at me and they're like, "What is that?" And I was like, "The
I
language you it's
same
going to take a long time to understand."
same. All I did was translate books from Latin to
Hmm.
English. I took 4 years of it in high school,
Yeah.
so completely relate.
Yes.
Um, this is I cannot tell you how exciting this conversation is because all too often we're hearing the fear side, and as
Hmm.
our chief digital officer Sanjeev Sahu has said, don't fear AI. We need to cheer AI for the possibilities and the things that we're going to be able to do. You mentioned manufacturing. Industry 4.0
Yep.
is exploding
It
right
is.
now because we're having to retool all of our manufacturing facilities to attract a younger demographic to work there
Hmm.
because
Yep.
the boomers are retiring
Yes,
and
they
the
are.
old way of manufacturing just cannot work anymore.
Yeah, I have a good friend, Zach, who is a big proponent of Industry 4.0, and he partnered with another gentleman to really highlight, Industry 4.0. What is it? What is it doing? How people can take advantage of that, and I think we're at another point in human history where it's essentially the next iteration of an industrial revolution, right? AI is fundamentally going to alter how everything is going. And certainly, right, where with good there comes another side to it, and that's been the case throughout human history. But we have to fundamentally look at it and say, yes, we understand that there are negative things that can happen and that will happen, but we need to control. And I love this quote from Stephen Covey, and I love his book. We as human beings are response able, and what he means by that is we control how we respond to various things. And I think to what John has said, if we respond with fear, if we respond with that's ultimately what we're going to pigeonhole or really box in something like that. And I think in my mind, AI, yes, there are risks to it, but how we respond to it, being cautious, being optimistic, but also being real and understand that yes, there are risks. Here's how we put those guards in place. Here's how we pave as safe a path as possible. And we do that for our kids, right? I'm a father of three. If I could wrap my kids in a bubble, I would love to, but that's going to do them no favors, right? They're going to not make it in the world today. They've got to learn how to stumble and fall and pick themselves back up. And I think we technology professionals are going to go through the same journey with AI. Yes, there are going to be stumbles. We are going to fall, and we're going to have to pick ourselves back up and keep chugging forward with how best to leverage AI in an effective and transparent manner. And I think that's the key there, is being transparent, also with our customers, our peers, our clients. I think the more we share and help people understand what AI is and what AI isn't, the better off I think everyone's going to be for it.
That is so beautifully said. And I, we've gotten so much information out of this tech. I feel like it's been a tutorial, which is great. I love it. Thank you, Derek and John. But before we close, Derek and
Yes.
John, regarding the relationship between Trace3 and Ingram Micro, how valuable has that been to getting you to where you are today?
The relationship has been invaluable. I don't think we Trace3 and the Microsoft practice more broadly would be where it's at today without Ingram Micro's partnership. We very plainly looked at this business about 18 to 24 months ago. We did our due diligence. We interviewed everybody in the market. We made a lot of different conversations, and ultimately, we chose Ingram Micro because of the value and the partnership that they brought to Trace3, the alignment with the values that we had, and just how to go to market across the different areas. And it's really helped propel our business to heights that prior to that we just weren't seeing. And so I think as a partner of Trace3 and as much of a partner we've been with you, we've been able to collaborate and truly partner and go back and forth on a number of different things. And we've gotten to work together on a number of different occasions and trainings and other various things that have been fantastic. And yeah, we really appreciate what Ingram has done for Trace3, and we appreciate the partnership and wouldn't imagine where else we could be other than right here, right now.
And likewise, I just have to say that I know our team every day wakes up thinking, how can we help a partner like Trace3 be more successful in what they do in serving their customers? And when I think specifically about the Trace3 relationship, I know that that's what it's all about, right? Is that they're coming together and saying, where are you trying to get in the market? How can we help you get there faster? How can we help you get there more productively? And that it's such a great thing when we're that intertwined with a partner's success plan and where they want to go and how we can help them. It allows us to put all of our energy into the right place. And sometimes we're pointing out areas of opportunity that we see just a millisecond before they do because of a vendor relationship we have or whatever it is, and we try to bring it to them to give them the competitive advantage. So what a great relationship and kind of manifestation of what our strategy is all about, helping partners be more successful.
Derek, you said, you mentioned value alignment.
Yes.
And what's amazing about value alignment is once you have it, it's trust. It's a trusted relationship. When you know that those values have already aligned, when you start the relationship out, you know that you're going to be able to trust one another to deliver, which is when the magic happens. Gentlemen, you have been delightful today. You've been insightful today. It's been incredible to have you both on the show. And Derek, you come back anytime if you've got great stories to tell about your end users, or you want to talk history or whatever you want to talk about, you're invited back anytime. And John, of course, you can join too. Of course. Thank you, gentlemen. This has been a great episode of B2B Tech Talk, and I know our listeners are going to think it's awesome too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Derek.
you guys having me on here. Thank you.
Impactful global engagements, iconic entertainment experiences, and memorable networking opportunities. Be part of it all at Ingram Micro One 2024. You've been listening to Ingram Micro's B2B Tech Talk. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode and you want to continue the conversation online, use hashtag B2B Tech Talk.